नाजरीन आदाब, ये टेक1 टेलीविज़न है और आप देख रहे हैं हमारा हफ्तेवार प्रोग्राम परख के आज के शुमारे में हमने मदऊ किया है ऐसे मेहमानों को जो बैरूनी मुल्क से ताल्लुक़ रखते हैं और इनका कामकाज दुनिया भर में जो हालात हैं, वाक़यात हैं, ख़ासकर हैवानी ज़िंदगी से, नबातात से, जो एनवायरनमेंट के हवाले से या माहौलियात के हवाले से काम है, उसके साथ इनका ताल्लुक़ है। हमारे आज के मेहमान हैं मिस्टर डोनाल्ड वुड्रो। डोनाल्ड वुड्रो का ताल्लुक़ अमेरिका से है। ये न्यूयॉर्क में पैदा हुए हैं, आजकल बेल्जियम में मुकीम हैं। इन्होंने नेशनल जियोग्राफिक चैनल के साथ काम किया है। इसके अलावा इन्होंने दुनिया भर से कई सारे मैगज़ीन जो हैं उनके साथ ये मुंसलिक रहे हैं और कश्मीर के बारे में इनकी जो मालूमात हैं वो अपने काम के हवाले से भी इनकी एक पहचान बनाते हैं। इनके साथ तशरीफ़ फरमा हैं डॉक्टर केन वुड्रो। डॉक्टर केन वुड्रो एक डॉक्टर हैं और प्रोफेसर हैं एट स्टैनफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी अमेरिका, और स्कूल ऑफ मेडिसिन जो इस यूनिवर्सिटी का कैलिफोर्निया में कायम है, वहाँ पे ये मेडिसिन पढ़ाते हैं। आइए इनसे गुफ्तगू करते हैं कि कश्मीर के बारे में इनके जो तासुरात हैं या जो इनकी ऑब्जर्वेशंस हैं वो किस तरह की हैं, और एक सयाह होने के हवाले से या बैरूनी मुल्क से ताल्लुक़ रखने के हवाले से कश्मीर के बारे में इनके क्या ख़यालात हैं। वेलकम टू द शो।
Thank you.
Don, why are you in Kashmir?
I came to Kashmir because I wanted to come for a long time. I heard from people who had been here how beautiful it is, that it was heaven on earth, paradise on earth. For many, many years I wanted to come here. For the last few years I heard about danger, the word danger being used, that it's dangerous to be here. And still, when you hear about paradise on earth, even though you hear danger, you still want to come. You want to experience it yourself. And I met someone in Mumbai who is from here, who told me so much about Srinagar and Kashmir, and he really made me feel that I have to come, that I must come regardless, even if it was dangerous. And I must say that a few days before I came, I was warned not to come.
Warned by whom?
By people in Mumbai.
What about your embassy or your high commission in Mumbai?
Even in the, we read, my cousin and I read reports in the newspapers issued by the American embassy, a warning not to come to Kashmir, that it was dangerous. And regardless of that, we were listening all the time to my friend and the man here who lives here, who has a wonderful hotel here.
Okay.
And he assured me that it is absolutely fine. And up until a day before we came, we were still warned that we should change
Your program to come over.
we should change our plans and not come here. But having traveled as much as I do all over the world, I thought that I could, even if there was a problem, I could still handle the situation. But we arrived on a few days ago, and everything that was said about the danger of Kashmir didn't exist.
Okay, well, your job does leave a room for you because you have worked with National Geographic, and you must have sometimes faced the dangers of all types while shooting or while using your camera. I would ask Dr. Kenn,
yes.
How did you find Kashmir?
The place is beautiful. The people are warm. Everything is interesting. It's wonderful.
Now that you had been warned not to come,
Yeah.
you have a danger over here. Now once you are in Kashmir, you are staying in a beautiful place. So how do you feel, and what's your experience after coming over to Kashmir in the backdrop of those warnings which had been issued before coming over?
First, to speak the truth, I was afraid before I came. I looked at the websites of the US, UK, Australia, and Canada. All say don't come. too dangerous. I have a friend who is in the U.S. State Department in Washington, D.C. I called him up and I said, I'm afraid my cousin wants me to go, but all the official sites say, not so good, dangerous. Would you call some people you know behind the scenes to find out? So my friend called the people in Delhi, who called more local people, and they said, not so much of a problem. It's more politics than reality. So I felt a little bit better. So I come to Mumbai with my cousin.
Right.
My cousin's friends also said, dangerous, trouble, unrest. There is none, zero. There was a strike, people here know, because of a problem. But no danger, less than in a city in America.
So can we call that it's a myth whatsoever is being propagated outside about Kashmir? It's a myth? You found it as a myth?
Oh yes, I don't understand it because both intellectually and emotionally, it's wonderful. It's not even neutral, not dangerous, not neutral. I feel wonderful. It's wonderful. No safety concern, no security concern. Right. It's a joy.
Right. Before we proceed, I have not acquainted my viewers that you are both Woodrows and you are cousins. You are cousins.
Yes.
Okay. Donald, you have been associated with media for a long time, and there is a strong feeling that media is one of the factors which is spreading all kinds of rumors about Kashmir. What do you say? What's your take on that?
Well, the media that I've been involved in is not necessarily the daily media, the newspapers, which personally I would not even want to work for. The media that I've worked for, more travel magazines and publications, educational or magazines to inform the people about the beauty of the world and historical knowledge, to share historical pictures to people everywhere. My feeling always was that the newspapers often reflected exaggeration, because I've been in many places which were even where there were problems, but the problems were always magnified by the media.
Right.
So if you had a small problem in the media, it was a big problem.
Right.
I think they do that to sell papers. I think also a lot of media is influenced by government and political parties. I know even in Europe, the media seems to reflect very much. I know in Belgium, where I'm living, you have different newspapers, and each one reflects more the attitudes of a certain political party.
Right.
I think that exists everywhere,
Right.
even in the United States.
Of course.
In the United States,
Right.
everywhere in the world.
Right.
You have in New York, you have media which is very rightist. You have media which is more leftist. So having said that, the media influences the mass of people. They read a newspaper and they believe what they read. Then there are people that try to assess in their own way, try to find more in depth what is true and what is not true. And I think being in a place and experiencing a certain place, a city, a state, whatever, experiencing yourself, I think could give you a better idea of the reality.
Right.
What we have re-experienced here in Kashmir, in Srinagar, is certainly not the is our reality, which is wonderful. It's not, doesn't seem to reflect the reality that is given by the newspapers and the world media.
Right, right.
And I'm starting to question, ask myself, why? I'm asking why. Is there extreme political motive?
Let me put this question to you.
Okay.
Why?
Why? I have a feeling, very simply stated, that there are people that don't want tourists to come here. They do not want to see how wonderful it is, for their own particular motives, whatever they may be. I have no idea. I mean, I would want my son and my wife and my family and all my friends to come here to see how beautiful this place is. Not only the environment, but the people. So warm, so friendly, where you feel like so much at home. And the motives of people who are giving this false information, I don't know what their motives are. I have an idea why, but to be sure, I couldn't state it.
Before we proceed with our discussion, let me ask Dr. Kenn. Dr. Kenn, you have a tremendous experience with for working with youngsters as students. You are teaching medicine. So, what do you think in a given situation that we have in Kashmir right now, the situation which is being propagated outside, and the Kashmir which is there in real means, what should we be done? Because world is a global village now, it's a small place now, people want to go and come in.
Yes.
So, you know that tourism is the biggest industry, is the main industry, which is feeding Kashmiris, and it is the industry which was hit below the belly for last 20 years. So what do you feel that an international effort should be to bring in tourists to calm down to clarify the misunderstandings outside and impress upon the youth that they should move out and that should move in Kashmir?
You're asking how it should occur.
How should be done?
It's easy. It's always one person, because people distrust the media, whether it's the newspapers, the magazines, the politicians. There's always a vested interest. I think you seed it with individual people. Donald will go back to Antwerp, Belgium. I will go back to California, USA. And we will tell friends, come to this place. It's beautiful. They will tell other people, because everybody has a different idea. Somebody will listen to this broadcast and they will say, they have a reason for saying this. Somebody gave them money, so for some reason.
Right.
But so you have to have one idea and another idea, but when people have personal experiences, the prejudices go away.
Okay.
So our idea may not be the right idea. In a university, you teach people how to think, not what to think.
Right.
And so if you tell people, think, have an open mind, the government says there's a danger. We come to Mumbai. The people say there's a danger, don't go. If you go, be very careful, don't speak to people. If somebody welcomes you, don't go. Our experience was different. Maybe, I don't know why the difference is, but I think the more individual people, he will spread to his people in Belgium. I will tell people in California, they say, they went, no problem. Are you going to believe the newspaper or somebody you know? Then they tell other people, you have to build step by step.
Right. In circumstances like these, one-to-one contact and propagating the right kind of things after experiencing the reality becomes the duty of people. But at the same time, you know that whole world is under the influence of media, as we said.
The mass of people are, I believe.
So what should be the duty of media? How would
the duty of media to explore not just the conversation, but if there is a force that is not visible, for the media to explain what the forces that have a vested interest, because there has to be some vested interest. I don't understand Indian politics.
When can we say that media is not performing its duty professionally?
I would go the extra mile and say that's true, what you say. I'm very disappointed with the media, the mass media, and I think there's too much influence by governmental officials what they should say, and I would simply state that if there should be an open debate about it. I would love to sit here with people who have warned me, whether from certain government officials or media officials, to sit here amongst Ken and I and say, where is the problem?
Okay.
Where is the problem? Where is the problem? You can have your camera make a nice 360-degree movement and go with us downtown where we were yesterday, where we met wonderful people and people were going through their daily lives. Let's have an open debate and let's see. If they were not afraid, they would be here. They would come here. They probably wouldn't want to be on camera.
Yeah. The other thing is that the purpose of a university is to stimulate the mind. the purpose of the media is frequently to stimulate emotion. So if the biggest emotion is fear, you have to counter it with a different emotion, which is enthusiasm. Definitely. Okay, so I think while at a university the intellect is primary, in the media emotion is the primary. It sells newspapers, it sells something. So I don't think you can, unfortunately, just make the case through intellect. It has to be through the heart.
Through the heart, yes.
Yes.
That's wonderful. As you said, it should be through the heart.
Yeah.
Don, we have talked about media, we have talked about the facts and the realities and every odd thing. Now, one more problem about the tourism industry in Kashmir, which is influencing badly, is the advisories issued by certain European, certain Western, and even America for coming over to Kashmir. How can it be countered by people like you who come here?
Well, I think what my cousin said, let me just say one thing. We are here, both my cousin and I, because we want to share our feelings about how our experience has been here. We haven't been, we're sitting here because we've been asked to speak to you.
Right.
But that's the only thing we were asked. We were asked to tell what we experienced, the truth, what we feel. So this is what we think in our hearts. Okay, I think the only thing we can do, you know, especially to improve the tourism here in Kashmir and its entire area, the only thing you can do is to go and try to have word of mouth, people coming here, and spreading the word, mouth to mouth, or find some private tourist industry, or the tourist industry in different countries. Now, the tourist industries of the various countries are certainly not going to say not to come to this area. I mean, if there was a Kashmiri tourist agency, they're not going to tell the people not to come to Kashmir. They're going to want the people to come to Kashmir. The problem, I feel, lies with that once the people have arranged their schedule, then they read in the newspaper not to come, and then they decide to not to come.
Now, do you feel there is to some extent, the duties of the government in this regard, say it may be state government or maybe the central government, they have a duty here to clarify the facts?
It's always a problem because there is a duty and a fairness, but sometimes, a few times, the government doesn't operate out of what's fair. It may operate out of a vested interest. And so you asked a particular question, what can be done at a government level? When I go back to America, I will call my friend who is in the State Department and say, you know, you have people who are in the embassy, you have diplomats, you have people in the intelligence services. They tell you one thing. I'm not an official of the U.S. government, I'm a tourist. But I tell you my experience so you can factor it in. Somebody has to decide who's at a senior level. Why they decide, how they decide, we're not smart enough to know.
Right.
You have to have different opinions.
Right.
You have two people who go to the same restaurant. One likes it, one doesn't like it. You go to two people, different movies, one likes it. It's an alternative viewpoint.
Exactly. But we're not talking about how people would experience Kashmir.
Yes.
But what we are saying is that it's a very strange situation to hear reports that an area is dangerous, and we shouldn't come. And yet we come anyway, yes. And we experience the opposite.
And by the way, the recommendations that we not come to Kashmir and Srinagar are not only from the U.S., the U.K., Canada, Australia, but also from Mumbai and the people in the Indian government. Right. Not just the foreign.
Right. Exactly.
So it's not just the foreign press. It's also the Indian press that says, don't come. People who are high in this country. My friend has many friends of all different levels. But people, even at a senior level, who like us, say it's dangerous, don't go. So it's not just a foreign problem. I think it's an Indian problem too.
You're very right.
And may I just say one more thing? it's very dangerous to issue warnings like this when they're not true, because it's a situation in which you'll get to a point where when there's really a danger. We are saying now we were told it was dangerous, and it's not.
Okay.
You'll get to a point where it may be somewhere. Of course, it could be dangerous anywhere in the world.
Right.
I was here on the 26th of November. I was in the Oberoi Hotel when it was shot by terrorists. The day before, we didn't know that there were terrorists in Mumbai. Nobody knew. Mumbai was a safe place. And yet, the 26th of November...
You mean it could happen anywhere?
Exactly. It could happen anywhere. Now, if there was really a bad situation here, of course, the press and the government and State Departments everywhere have the responsibility to tell the people that it is dangerous, if it is truly dangerous. But if we get to a situation where it's always dangerous, for years and years, it's dangerous, then you don't know what to believe anymore. This is this is dangerous.
Yes, this is the real danger is this, that you have to clear the minds of the people that the situation throughout the world is like that anything could happen anywhere, but the life shouldn't stop.
Today, I mean, if there was really fighting, not across the border, but right here in the city, people should know about it. Absolutely. It's a responsibility.
But they told us that, there was unrest in the city and it was dangerous. The unrest is not tourists. The unrest was the local people who were uncomfortable with a local political situation. There's no animosity toward tourists, towards Americans. The animosity was towards Indian institutions, not...
Dr. Kenn, let me tell you that as a Kashmiri, we have tremendous pride about the hospitality we extend to our guests like you.
Yes.
But at the same time, we have elaborated our discussion beyond the borders.
Yes.
So, a situation after 9/11 did suggest that a conflict between certain segments of the society throughout the world. But now, the president of your country, Barack Obama, has extended a hand of friendship towards the Muslim world.
Yes.
How hopeful are you that that's going to work?
The heart and the head operate in different ways. So I'm very hopeful, always. It takes a long time to make things better. It takes some more time. It takes a long time to make things worse. I am very hopeful that through individual experiences, things will get better. When you have a man who has good intellect and a good heart, and even though he's with the government, it seems like his goal is to form alliances as opposed to antagonize people. It makes me hopeful. Definitely better. In the U.S., the same thing. People have increased hope, but we're also a little bit skeptical because the words are easy to say, the actions don't always follow the words. The job of a politician is to say good things. The question is, what is the action to follow? We still don't know. But to go back to the question you asked me, yes, I'm hopeful.
There is one more question which is related to the tourist industry. You have made a mention about the political unrest in Kashmir, but at the same time, the people who are opposing the government are unanimous about the tourism to thrive, about extending the hospitality to the people from within the country and from outside the country, and make them extend all kinds of comforts to them. So how do you rate this situation in a given situation when you have a political unrest?
How you do this? To get around it? Is that
No. Now, the people, the situation and the tourism industry and the to the tourist industry is attributed to the situation. But the people who are, I should say openly, who are opposing the establishment are even unanimous on this point that tourists are our guests and hospitality is our tradition. They should be given all kinds of comforts and hospitality, and people should be hospitable towards them and should extend all kinds of hospitality towards them. In a given political situation, how do you rate this idea of those people?
If there are 5 stars, this is 6 stars.
May I say something? I think you have to challenge the people within the government and at the high levels of government whether it's the state government or the federal government, to find out really why there is a continuous problem with this negative attitude towards Kashmir, of constant warnings of people about Kashmir and why it is dangerous to come.
Now, I have a different opinion. We're family, so we don't always agree.
Right.
I think that the government always has reasons you could find out, you could make it public, and they would still have a vested interest. I think if you get people, for example, from the travel industry in the U.S., the UK, Australia, Canada, and you have some people have familiarization trips, even if it costs a little bit of money or you subsidize the trips, they come, they say, when somebody comes, we say, we hear you. You say, yes, I've been there, it's no problem. So I think at an intellectual level, for the media, it's always good to explore what the problems, the government, why they do this, but even if you made it public, the same problem would exist. It wouldn't change just because of information.
No, but what I was saying was more on the national level here, because people, and I think your idea is involving the tourist agencies all over the world, have them come here, even if you have to subsidize
I feel very happy by informing you that very recently we had a big group of travel operators from Greece in Kashmir, and they met the authorities, they met the chief minister of the state, and their conclusion was that this is a wonderful place, and they said that we will go and try to send maximum number of tourists over here. And I feel what you are suggesting, that this effort should be from country to country, from one country to another country, and they should target all, like they targeted Greece, the authorities should target other countries as well.
But to target the countries that are the biggest markets now, Italy, Germany, but the U.S. is a giant market, and if you have people come and say, ask people who have been here. So you have travel agents come, you say to call us, we say, this is our experience.
Right. But my feeling is the tourists could begin their trip in India, further south, in Delhi or Mumbai, and at the last minute they could be told by local officials
that you must go.
Here.
You must go to Kashmir.
There's the problem.
Right.
There is the problem, and Ken, I believe that there is something going on outside of this state, which it's an instinct feeling that people are told not to come to the north.
Right.
So tourists would get on a plane. They would arrive in the main cities where international travels arrive, which would be Delhi and Mumbai, and there, on the local level, we'll be told, don't go there, but rather stay down here.
Right.
And there's a problem, because the Greek tourism authority could send the people here on a tour, but if they arrive locally and are told the last minute that it's dangerous,
that's more important to inform them locally.
Like we almost changed our plans, and we would have missed heaven on earth.
Okay. Speaking to you, and I not only hope, I wish, I pray that our thinking onto this issue, which is called tourism, is I think it's unanimous. We are unanimous that certain things are there which are very important to be attended to and dealt with. I hope and I wish and I pray that the relevant maybe authorities or the people from one to one level, everybody will perform his duty, and it will be tackled nicely, and we have lot of tourists coming over to Kashmir like you are here, and we also hope that you will go back and you will perform your bit also. So welcome to Kashmir, and thank you very much for this wonderful discussion which we had in the middle of one of the best lakes of the world, I should say. So thank you very much, Don. Thank you very much, Dr. Kenn.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here, and I think I can speak for my cousin. We'll be back.
we'll be waiting. और नाजरीन, इसके साथ ही टेक वन परख इख्तिताम को पहुंचता है। मेज़बान जलील अहमद को दीजिए इजाज़त।